I decided a while back now, about 2 years ago almost, that I wanted to open a school in India to benefit survivors of human trafficking and basically to give these women who are going through the shelter homes someplace to go when they come of age and when they're not, going to stay in the shelters anymore. And what I found was that these women and these girls, they grow up in this situation where people are helping to take care of them, but they don't really have, a real support system. So they leave the shelter home, they don't know what to do, and a lot of them go back into the sex trade because they don't know where to go. So I was thinking about that, about how I go to India every year and I do a workshop for them, but it's just a one-time thing. And it's great because I'm trying to encourage them to express themselves, but at the same time, I want them to have a practical way of pursuing photography. So I decided to start a school there, which is centered around, giving them something, some practical training that they can take and start a business with, but also encouraging storytelling and self-expression and really continuing that healing process. So that's what the school is.
And where is the school located?
The school is in Kolkata, India, and that's where we're starting. So the hope is that, eventually we can grow this and it can move to different cities and different countries. But that place in particular is where I started with charity work. It's where the organization that I work with, that's where they're based. And that's where there is a huge problem with sex trafficking.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to really start where I knew and include some of the girls that I've been able to educate in the past and see how it goes. And it's really exciting because the other part to it is that there's a studio. And so attached to the school is a studio space where they can then, once they graduate, work for the school and the studio to generate income, which funds the school. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling thing.
Which is fantastic. And then they can start to teach other people as well, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
What have you heard from some of the people who you've already impacted with going over there and these women? What are some of the stories?
Yeah, it's been amazing because we start off every workshop with asking them to tell a story. It doesn't have to be their story, it doesn't have to be anything, but I just say, we talk a little bit about storytelling and about symbolism and stuff like that, and then I say, just write down a story, whatever you want. And the stories that come out of them are fascinating. For example, one told a story of a penguin and how this penguin got lost from its parents and couldn't find its way back and thought that it was lost forever in the ocean, and then realized that it was just sleeping and it was all a dream and she really had a family. But that in real life she doesn't have a family, and of course it's not about a penguin, it's about her. And that's how a lot of the stories evolve. And so they've been going through this process of storytelling and healing through expression, and by the end of it, they're saying things like, I had no idea that I even had a voice or that anybody would listen to what I had to say. And that's the best thing, when they can see their finished image and it expresses what they want it to express, and then they can give that to somebody else.
I really love that you're combining not just photography itself, but the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that, and with regard to healing?
Well, it started, I guess, kind of just my own journey has been to create self-portraits, and I never did it in a very traditional way where I was creating from my personal life, and people always said, that's weird, why even take a self-portrait if it's not about you? And I said, well, it's not about me personally, but it's about the stories that I feel need to be told. So I started realizing that there are stories that may not be what's happening to you on a daily basis, but it's what's happening deeper than that within your subconscious, within your imagination. And so when I was invited to India, we came up with this game plan of, photography is not the point here. The point is to be able to express yourself in some way and to realize that you have a story. And that's how I approach my photography. That's how I view other people's photography. I always say, what's the story? First and foremost. I don't care how you did it. I don't care anything else. Just what is it? Why'd you do it? And once we get past that, then you get to the real heart of why anybody creates. And the same is true for, either of us or for somebody who has been in a shelter home their whole life.
Right. I love that. So tell me about where people can find out more information about the school, what the upcoming big events are in January of 2015.
Right, so I have a blog called promotingpassion.com, and there's a section on there about giving back, and that talks a little bit about many different charities that anybody can get involved in, but also a little bit about the school in India. the school is opening in January, so I go back on January 8th, I believe. I fly out, and so I'll be there for 2 weeks, and we're going to do a couple little workshops, which is really great because the first group that I ever taught, they ended up saying, well, now we want to do Photoshop. So now I'm going back to teach Photoshop, and right now we're just working on getting donations for cameras and computers and stuff like that.
And so are there opportunities for people who might be watching this right now who are really interested in helping support you in this project?
Yes.
Where can they find out
So
more?
on that Giving Back page, you're going to find information about where you can send donations, as well as if you want to donate a camera that you might have or a computer or something that you're not using anymore. That's all really, really helpful. So that will all be there.
That's fantastic. I really loved about that page, that Giving Back page on promotingpassion.com, that it's a whole list of different organizations and different ways that people give back through photography. And it's just a wonderful place just to go check out and be inspired.
Yeah, my friend Amy Parrish actually helped me put it together, so that was wonderful because we were both really passionate about that kind of thing, and she came to India with me around, and she's a photographer, so we kind of teamed up and said, what are all the organizations we can find that
It's a great resource. People can add to that list too. So. Thank you, Brooke Shaden. Just wanted to take the opportunity to share your story with everybody out there.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
And can't wait to hear more about the school.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.